Well, it's a beautiful Thursday, the 25th in the month of July 2024. A very good morning to you and welcome to The Frequency. The program is Open Parliament, live on The Frequency, where we bring you some of the biggest stories making headlines in Nigeria, Abia, and beyond. My name is Mr. C. As always, we are very delighted to have you tuned in right now. On the program today, we will be having a repeat broadcast of a special session we had with some stakeholders from the ancient kingdom of Arochukwu. Well, the session was centered on the Arochukwu leadership stool and was originally held on Friday, the 12th of July, 2024. And eventually, during the course of the rebroadcast, we will be joined by Mr. Chidebere Egede, the Okinachi Youth President from Arochukwu. Do stay with us. My name is Mr. C. Welcome on board this special session. We're going to be taking this through to when we get to hand over to the Igbo belt. But yes, for those of us who have been keen watchers of happenings in Nigeria, in Abia, particularly as it has to do with communities in Abia State, I'm sure you would agree with me that it is no longer news that the process that led to the emergence of a new Ezearo for the Arochukwu kingdom was marked with some form of controversies. Well, nevertheless, the Abia State government, through the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs at the tail end of 2023, presented a certificate and staff of office to Pastor Arochukwu Kanu as the new Ezearo. However, Mazi Godwin Kanu Idei, as we speak, is laying claim to the Ezearo title, insisting that his coronation followed the customs and traditions of the Arochukwu people, which has been passed down by their forefathers. Well, on this platform last week, some youth from the ancient kingdom did appear to tell us and shed more light on the history about the traditions for the stool. And they didn't stop there. They did appeal to the governor, Dr. Alex Oti, to intervene in their words, so that in the word, the tradition of in the word, Arochukwu people should be maintained. Well, this is light on these issues. We are being joined live in the studio by some stakeholders as well from the Arochukwu kingdom. First off, we've got Ambassador Okoro Henry. A very good morning to you, Ambassador. Welcome to this special session.
Good morning, Mr. C.
Yes. Also being joined live in the studio by Engineer Chris DK, live in the studio as well.
Good morning, Mr. C, and good morning, viewers.
Mr. Walter Okoro is here too. Good morning to you. Welcome to this session.
Good morning, Mr. C.
Okay. Well, so I mean, it's interesting that a process that happened sometime last year, one would imagine that issues ought to have been done and dusted with the report of Pastor Arochukwu being issued certificate and staff of office. But, I mean, it's pretty surprising, I'm sure, for an onlooker or somebody who has been following keenly that these issues, the gray areas that are yet to be cleared. I mean, for the obtained time, what is really going on?
Mr. C, I will leave you with a question. Does the government really have jurisdiction of making somebody a king from any community?
Well, I would like for us to follow so that those who do not have an idea of this case would follow through. What's really happening at the moment?
His Royal Majesty, there's a Godwin Kanu Okoro, who is the authentic Ezearo, was duly selected according to our tradition, and was also duly crowned according to the tradition of Arochukwu. Ebere, as a person, did not pass any process. He did not pass through any ritual. Now, if you call yourself an Eze, there is a place you go and pour libation as an Eze. Let him go there and pour and come back alive. They will know it's an Eze. He has not done any perform any traditional rites that will qualify him as Eze. So I don't know where Commissioner for Local Government Affairs and his governor gets that their own tradition to crown somebody. The government does not make anybody Eze of any community. It is not their duty. It is the duty of the community to say this is our Eze. They now present to the government for mere recognition. Kanu was Eze in 1914. He was recognized by the government of the 1979 when Mbakwe gave him certificate of recognition and staff of office. After 50-something years, Mbakwe recognized him as Eze. But he had been ruling Aro happily over these years before Mbakwe recognized him. So recognizing Ebere is nothing to us. That is not to say he's a king. Selection of Eze, the way he was selected, is that our tradition? The answer is no. We don't do voting for Eze. It's a natural thing. You don't vote Eze. Eze is born, not by voting.
Is it hereditary? Is that the word?
Very, very hereditary. Kanu Okoro was Ezaro before he was arrested by the British and took him to Calabar where he died. That is the ancestral lineage of this Godwin candidate. That's where it's coming from. Ebere's grandfather became Eze. He wasn't an Eze, he was a regent king. He was a regent all through the time Queen Elizabeth was recognizing him. He was a regent, it's written. Who gave him this thing to hold for his family? Kanu Okoro gave him the power. Hold this thing for me until my children, until my son, when his son has grow up, so I can ascend the throne. But eventually, the man grew up and he didn't talk about it. He was a careful person because this man is his brother, so they couldn't drag anything. He allowed him to be. So now it is the turn of this young man to assume the throne. Abraham came out from nowhere. He did not pass through any process. What are those processes? The process is that their family will bring you out to the immediate family. The immediate family will accept you and bring you to the larger family. The larger family will now take you to the whole village. Abraham did not pass all this process. He just came out.
Okay. Well, quite a foundation to start from there. And by the way, just to let you know that we're being joined virtually by Mr. Chidebere Gede. He's the Okinachi Youth President. Mr. Chidebere, good morning to you. I beg your pardon, this is afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's actually afternoon.
Yes, good morning. So, can I come in?
Yes, we'll get to your turn, but let me get to the gentleman right here in the studio because you did join us last week. Let me get to you, Mr. Walter. What is the brief of this? Because I would want for us to. A lot has been said about this. We did talk deeply on this last week, but we need to go into specifics so people would have an appreciation of what's really playing out.
Thank you very much. You see, everybody that is saying whatever they are saying is saying the right thing. In a community or in a village, they have their rules. They have how they control their kingship or whatever. Besides, in Arochukwu, I have not seen where somebody that his father is still alive rule a community. What would the father say when the king comes out? Would the father bow to the king, or the king have to bow to the father? So, but all these things sounds funny, because even with the staff of office and all that, let him come out and speak to the people that he is the king. He can't come out. Rather, they are threatening us with police and army and all that. So, I think
why can't he come out?
Because he's not the king. He's not the king. The rightful king has been in Arochukwu trying to rule his people And they have been threatening him with all sort of threatening, like selling, what's it, threatening him with too many things and all that. But all the same, he will take it that it's just a question of time, things will go that way. That's...
Okay, so, well, let me also hear from the gentleman right here. You want to take it away, Ambassador Okere Henry. What do people need to know about what's really happening in Arochukwu?
Okay, thank you very much. Arochukwu Ancient Kingdom had crowned their king as of 20th October 2023. And I want to refer to the Ikeji publication last year, where His Royal Majesty was presented as the next SR. He was presented as the next SR in the last Ikeji brochure. And we all know that in the selection process of SRO, that the Kindred Union have nothing to do. Like, people are misinformed that Arochukwu was selected by the kingmakers known as Okenachi Kindred Union. That is false. Because Okenachi Kindred Union doesn't have any rights or wasn't even designated to do such by the authority in Arochukwu. Mazi Godwin Idei was officially selected as the SR of Arochukwu as far back as 2022 by the family in the UK, the royal family, in the presence of the father of Arochukwu. He partaked, he took the kola, he took the traditional items, which is in Ngwisi. And you know that evildoers, people that have plans, would like to bring up excuses to stop some progressive or anything they know that they have selfish interests. It might interest you to know that Prince Joshua Kanu was the person that told the family that they should not rush in crowning the SR. That yes, that the next SR is Godwin, but they should wait till next year, which they have a plan, or they have already started this negotiation with the current government before they even.
When you say till next year, you're talking about 2025?
2023.
Okay.
As of start 2022.
Okay. Clear.
So the family, after the coronation of His Majesty, because His Majesty passed through the all traditional selection, the election or the selection committee came to be the Okenachi committee that they are that they are using as the kingmakers. What really called for that committee? The history of that committee was that this royal family, the Kanu, the Okoro family, precisely, Prince Kanu, and someone that was supposed to be the most senior in that ruling family, which is Oji Kanu, was having a dispute. They were having a serious dispute as of then, after the death of Ezra. So the committee came into be to reconcile the family, to bring peace to the family, so that the Ezra would be presented to the Arochukwu for crowning. So that was the reason for the constitution of the committee that they now refer as the SRO selection committee. When the political maneuver started, because when the committee derived from their reference to turned to kingmakers. The then SRO, someone that we will regard as the SRO then, as the Arianzo, wrote to this committee that they should stay clear from SRO because they are not in the position to select SRO. The documents are there. It's in public domain. The government is aware of that. But they would like to compromise everything just to suit their narrative.
When you say they, who are you referring?
They when I mean the government and the people that they are backing. So
okay, because talking about the government, we did make this point and we did emphasize this point that the government has constantly and consistently said, hey, I mean, the government has not had any part in what's going on there. The only part they have played is coming through to intervene. But let me go into specifics so that there's quite a number of issues we want for you to address. We did reach out, just like customs is, to give a fair hearing to every side to issues like this, to bring balancing and let the listeners get to know what exactly is going on from every side. We did reach out, of course, to the other side. We did cover the both sides. We did cover your side. We covered the other side as well. We did reach out to the government too. So we heard from every side, and then we're still following from the interview last week, still very open to having the other side come respond to some of the issues that were being raised. We did reach out to the necessary contact to have that happen. But nonetheless, while we are still anticipating that, we did have time to speak with the Honorable Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. And then he spoke specifically on some of these issues. We'll take them bit by bit, and if you will, you would want to react to some of what he said. Now, first off, here's what he said with regards to whether or not the government has a part to play in this.
The position of the present government on all such matters is straightforward. I want the position of government to respect the rule of law and then to respect the will of our people. And when it comes to community management or traditional institutions and money, it's all about the people. It's not about the government. The government has a role. The role of government is to recognize and endorse what the people have done. For Ezra to emerge, they have ruling houses and they have kingmakers. And then these kingmakers will sit, look at the people that are advancing themselves or the people who have been thrown up by their system, whatever they do. I'm not from Aaron. Okay. And so in this case, they had two candidates. And so the kingmakers sat down, 7 of them, went through their documentations, interviewed them, and then 5 out of 7 said, we believe that this so and so person, has passed merit to become the SRO. It is after their endorsement that they now forward the name to the Eze Bomisi, who will now do the coronation. The Eze Bomisi is not part of the kingmakers. His own is traditionally to crown. But in the case of Aaron, after they had done that, the Eze Bomisi didn't like the person that the kingmakers chose, 5 of them as against you, and took the other person and went ahead and crowned him king. They said, no, you have usurped our powers. It is not within your power to select. Your power is to crown. That's where the crisis started. It was at that point that they communicated, they wrote, they petitioned the government that problem is brewing in our and all that. And the government waded in and told them, please, maintain status quo and then get back to the system and then try to follow your constitution. That's why I started talking about constitution. And His Excellency also, in his good-naturedness, also reached out to them, said, please, try and make peace. Let's not have crisis. Both of you, try and make peace and sort yourselves out. And even invited them. Discuss amongst yourselves how to sort out this problem. Unfortunately, one of them believed that, well, with or without that this is a traditional matter, that nobody can tell them what to do. Eze Bomisi is there and all that. And we said, no, Eze Bomisi is not the governor. And Eze Bomisi is, your Eze Bomisi is also not the constitution. the generality of the people say this is the constitution that must lead us. And then he was warned to resign what he had done and go back to the tradition, go back to your people and sort it out. And he vehemently refused. It was at that point that I came in as the commissioner, overseeing the communities, and we put him on suspension for defying official directives.
Well, that's the Honorable Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, talking about Mr. Arochukwu. What's your reaction to some of what he said?
My reaction is that he lies from the pit of hell. He lied a lot. The selection of Eze, or the making of Eze in Aro, is not by election. And it can never be by election. It is an in-house thing. Those people he called the kingmakers, none of them are qualified to talk about Eze in Aro. None of them from A to Z. They are not qualified as a person to talk about, even to come near where Eze is being discussed. They are not qualified. Make investigations and find out what I'm saying. They are not qualified in any way. How can he, from all my hair, call somebody a kingmaker in Aro? Who made those people kingmakers? Are they OK family? Are they from Oke's family? Let them tell us who fathers them in OK family. They are not. It is an in-house thing. It is a family thing to talk about Eze. It is not an external body thing. It is not a political thing.
Okay.
Now he said they now voted. Vote who? Is he not aware that one of them, who is also serving SSA to the governor, brought his peer to vote, who is not from Arochukwu? Is not aware? They must amend this bullshit.
Well, you don't use certain words on air. I mean, we don't use swear words on air. You have to be calm when you're expressing your views. But let me get to you. What's your reaction to what he said?
Well, my brother, when somebody is saying the truth, you see it pure truth. The commissioner said what I think they told him. How can 7 people become a committee? The 7-man committee is not the kingmakers, like my brother just said. And with what he said after the election, which in Arochukwu kingdom, nothing like, you don't do election in kingship. You understand? Then, after doing it, you send the name to Ezibom, which he even said that Ezibom is not among of the kingmakers. So what is Ezibom's business rejecting who they brought if that thing is pure? I don't know if you're following me. So you see that whatever he's saying is what they say to him, he's reporting. But the true thing there now is that he's now implicating Ezibom for rejecting. Ezibom didn't reject anything. He didn't reject anybody. It's still this OK Nachi that owns the kingship, brought His Majesty Godwin. And he did the crowning process. Like he said earlier, there's some processes all these things take. You understand? Which Godwin went all these things. It's not 1 day thing, it's not 2 days. It's up to like one week.
1 year.
You understand? But this thing is something that will take 1 full year. You understand? So for what he's saying, to me, I didn't see any
Meaning.
I didn't see any meaning on it, because you cannot just say that the kingmakers.
So you're saying the processes he mentioned are not the processes that really should happen. But before we get to your ambassador, let me get to Mr. Idei on the phone. You heard what the commissioner said, didn't you?
Okay, sir. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Maazi Chidebere Egede. I'm a freeborn of Okenachi kindred in Arochukwu kingdom. Yes, Arochukwu is a kingdom. It's an ancient kingdom. One thing I will never forget is when Maazi Joshua Kanu, pastor. He's a pastor. He organized a program on EKG Day. During EKG Day, that was on our vote today. Meanwhile, whenever we start our EKG stuff, there will be no noise, no any other activities will be happening in Arochukwu. Dare you try that, you will be penalized by the Arochukwu kingdom. Now, Maazi Eni Joshua Kanu organized that program. In that program, he was shouting, he wrote it even, that our tradition will now turn to Christian tradition. This our long age tradition will be modelized to Christian traditions. That's why we can host that program on EKG Day. So, for this, the same Eni wrote a book that Maazi can never be a king in Arochukwu. The same Eni. The value of Maazi in Aro. And I also remember that even when our late Idei, Obonia Vincent Asieko, died, Maazi Eni was there, present. If I'm to ask, what makes Maazi Eni not to come out for the Eze? And he ran back to push his son to come and destroy, to use his son to achieve that his aim. His son, who also a pastor, to come and achieve his aim of destroying our long age tradition. I'm from Okenachi. I'm talking the truth of this matter. God bear me witness. And we know that a people that do not acknowledge their history, their origin, their culture and tradition are like a tree without roots. When these people started to manipulate of the rightful person, who said no, with the Okenachi, that this would destroy the kingdom. Aro has been an ancient kingdom. What are we going to tell this 360 settlement of Arochukwu in diaspora? How can we convince our ancestors? No, we say no. Our tradition remains our tradition. Our tradition remains to produce the next Ezaro. Now, to be sincere with you, they now went on with Maazi Eni Kanu and his group to push ahead to bring his son, Pastor Ebere, Maazi Pastor Ebere, to impose him on us in Okenachi kindred. We said no. Entire Okenachi come up with one voice.
Hello? Yeah, I think network has meant that we can't hear from Mr. Gather. They was try and re-establish contact and bring it on board. But you were going to say something, Ambassador.
Okay.
Ambassador Okereke Henry.
Referring to what the commissioner said, or from the statement of the commissioner, I will say that statement is a political statement just to suit the public and what the public want to say. So what really transpired is that the committee he is making reference to as the kingmakers are not in any way close as kingmakers. Let's use an instance. Yes, there is a kindred union for the Okenachis, which is known as the Okenachi Kindred Union. And what is the union all about? A town union is to bring development to the community. They are not the traditional institution of the Okenachi. The Okenachi Kindred have their own traditional institution, which is headed by the SRO. And in the absence of the SRO, the Arianzo is the head of the Okenachi traditional institution. And in the case of making a new SRO, I think the traditional institution headed by the Arianzo as of that time really made a statement. What is this? What was their statement? Was the government really interested to hear their own part of the story? I made reference to what Prince Joshua Kanu did earlier when His Majesty Godwin Kanu was initially selected and presented to the whole royal family and the Oroke in general. You know that he has a plan. Yeah, he has a plan. That's why he initiated that delay tactics to get the right time of making his taking his plans. So in this case of the Okenachi, let me say the kingmakers, the governor, the commissioner to the governor of local government and chieftaincy referred is not recognized.
They're not recognized in the process.
They are not recognized.
As far as Arochukwu kingdom is concerned. Well, I mean, like I said, the specifics would want you to address, and these are some of the comments when we put forward these questions to the government through the commissioner. What he said. Well, but you would react. I mean, he did follow through with this, the commissioner.
There's something I want to.
Yes, before that, you would.
And then a board of inquiry was set up to tell you that the governor had no. It's okay, just find out exactly what is happening. Let an independent body investigate this matter. And then the board of inquiry was inaugurated. Some of their people came and gave their testimonies. The board of inquiry, headed by Justice Ibua Commerce. Anybody in Abia State knows that he's a respected jurist that had retired. Fine gentleman. And the chairman of the Abia State Traditional Rulers Council, he's also from Arochukwu local government. So they understand the issues. And the zonal chairman, who is the first deputy chairman of the Abia State Traditional Rulers Council, who is from Abia Central. And then a nominee from the Ministry of Justice, Abia State Ministry of Justice. Of course, a nominee from the Ministry of Chieftaincy and Local Government Affairs to keep records, because we are the parent ministry in this matter. And then they sat for 6 weeks and reached their conclusions. Not just on that matter, but on other issues too, concerning another traditional law in another place. So they made their recommendations, government sat at the recommendation, and the recommendation was straightforward. That the man had defied official instructions and has also refused to present himself to be heard, and had gone ahead and was making all kinds of comments, the person he crowned, against official instructions, because they were told, even by the police, look, there is a lot of, when they make a lot of noise. They made a lot of noise. Some of them were bragging that they have the money. It's not, I say, it's not about the money. It's about following due process. And the people were saying, this thing is going to cause trouble. And the people were just waiting for government. If government doesn't do anything, then there's going to be big crisis. Very big crisis. Because the majority of ours who found that letter were on the other side. So even the commissioner of police saw what was happening, and then we told them, look, you people, you said you want to do coalition.
Well, Ambassador, react to that.
Okay. From the statement he just made about the board of inquiry, that it was constituted and some people refused to come. You know that what really happened is that after Ezibomisi, Dr. Kanu performed his traditional responsibility, initially the government who was really interested in a particular candidate.
Now, let me bring a perspective to this. I mean, based on what he said, just like they have emphasized, we are a government. We cannot sit idly by and watch whatever community, whatever it is they are doing, be it whatever culture and tradition they intend to perform, cause chaos. It's going to spill and it's going to affect the generality. So we step in to ensure that does not happen. And just like you heard him say, he said if the government did not step in, there would have been chaos. And that from the panel that was set up, other persons came to give their testimonies. The Eze Bomisi failed to come. I'm sure you heard him say that.
Yeah.
So you want to take it off?
That's what I want to react on. So as I was saying, the government initially instructed the 2 days after the Ezibomisi performing his traditional rites by crowning the qualified prince as Ezaro, the government instructed the PG of Nzukaro, who was supposed to be neutral in this matter, to tell the Ezibomisi to crown the crown or reverse the crowning of His Majesty Godwin Kanu. Ezibomisi says, see, if this is really coming from the governor, that the governor should write it down, put it in writing, so that if he's acting on it, he will say that yes, this is his instruction of the governor. So what happened is that the messenger left, and what Ezibom got after 3 days after, which was on 25th October, was suspension letter from the government, and Ezibomisi took them to court. Ezibom took the government to court to challenge their decision to suspend him because he performed his traditional responsibility.
So he was intent on appearing before the panel, but he only requested that that message has to be on written form, is it?
No. There was no panel then.
Okay.
The instruction from the governor to uncrown His Majesty Godwin Kanu Idei in the next 24 hours. That was the initial message from the government 2 days after the crowning of Mazi Godwin. So Ezibomisi took them to court, and the process, and they have already been served before the government inaugurated that board of inquiry. The board of inquiry was inaugurated on 16th of November, which by that time the case is already in the court. And you know that Ezibomisi cannot. They didn't invite Ezibomisi. They know fully well they didn't invite the Ezibomisi because the case is in court and it's prejudice for him to appear there. Because government is not only the executive. When we are talking about.
Well, you're sitting to Open Parliament, the Thursday edition, live on the frequency of Family Love 99.9 FM, the 25th day in the month of July 2024. Yes, we did say this to be a repeat broadcast of a special session we had with some stakeholders from Arochukwu Ancient Kingdom. The session was originally held on Friday, the 12th of July 2024, centers on the Arochukwu leadership stool. And earlier we did say to have join us the youth president of Okenachi, Mr. Chidebere Egede. He joins us virtually this morning. A very good morning to you, Mr. Chidebere. Welcome to Open Parliament.
Oh, you are welcome.
Yes.
Welcome, good morning.
Yes. You've been following this program, and indeed you had also appeared on the original broadcast. Is there an update you've got for us with regards to this issue?
Repeat. Hello?
Yes. Did he hear me?
I say repeat.
Yes, I said you had been part of this session, the original session, that is. What's the update with regards to the issues?
Okay. The update of the issue is that they are now fabricating lies against themselves, not Arochukwu Kingdom. Because the rumor going on air now is that the rightful person, the rightful king, our monarch, whom has taken over his kingdom since October 20th last year, that he stepped down now, he hand over to Muhammad Ebere, Master Arochukwu Joshua. So, and it's a pure lie. It's a typical lie, which I want to use this opportunity.
Okay, so you're saying the talk around town that Mazi Kanu has stepped down is not true.
I say it's typical lie. Nothing like that is and it can never be.
How sure are you? How sure are you about that?
Okay. Let me just connect to His Majesty so that he can say by himself, because it's a taboo. It can never be done. It can never happen. It hasn't happened in the history of Arochukwu.
Okay, so do you have Mazi Kanu there?
Yes. I can connect. If you don't mind, I can connect him so that the world will hear direct from him.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, yeah, I'll connect him.
Hello, good morning, Mazi.
Oh, good morning. Who am I speaking to, please?
Yes, you're live on Open Parliament, Family Love FM. Yes, so
Okay.
I mean, yes, the rumor, just like Mr. Idei has pointed out there, saying you have decided to throw in the towel. You're no longer interested in the leadership stool of Arochukwu Kingdom. Can you confirm that?
It is absolutely no. No. It's an absolutely no. Can you hear me good?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. It is a blatant and concerted lie. My family has now resolved to support Pastor Nwamazi Arochukwu Enikanoj. This is a cheap falsehood, very cheap one.
So you're saying there is no truth in those reports, is it?
Hello, sir. The answer to this question is absolutely no. I have been the legitimately crowned king of Arochukwu Kingdom since 20 October 2023. And I having passed through the mandatory and necessary customary processes to ascend to this throne of Arochukwu Kingdom. And for me to hear this it's very saddening. But I want to ask a question. Why do they need the consent of my family and me to proceed? I thought the government had already given them staff. I can see they actually want to turn Arochukwu tradition into politics. And in addition, I just want to make some comments. The royal stool of this kingdom cannot be usurped by someone whose father is still alive. And it is an abomination. And you must know, certain customs must be performed by the son upon the passing of his forebear, which I have carried out to the knowledge of every member of my family. And therefore, it would be against the entire body of our land custom for Pastor Nwamazi Arochukwu Oji, who is not traditionally qualified to ascend to the throne and become the chief custodian of our tradition. Because why I'm telling you this is for you to be the Ezaro of Arochukwu. You are the chief custodian of Arochukwu. In our language, Ezaro, I'll come to the Igbo language, Ezaro will omenanaro. That's how we say it in Arochukwu. So you cannot be Ezaro if you cannot practice and you cannot be the head of the tradition.
Yes, I mean,
excuse me. I just because this is saddening to hear something like this. So I want to take you because
now the question is, hold on,
a cheap propaganda like this.
Yes, your Majesty.
I want to use this opportunity, please, just hear me out, to let the world know that Pastor Arochukwu Oji is a stooge and puppet of the Abia State government who seek to impose him despotically and tyrannically on the people of my kingdom. By doing this, I think they have shown total disregard for the respected custom and tradition of my people.
Okay, Your Majesty, sir. Your Majesty, if you can hold on, Your Majesty, if you can hold on.
Wait.
If you can hold on, Your Majesty, if you can.
You know what this is?
Can you hold on, Your Majesty? Can you hold on, Your Majesty? Can you hold on, Your Majesty? Now the question is, because we are almost out of time and we need to wrap this up. Now the question, you have said he's a stooge of the government, and the government has consistently said, hey, not at all. We just stepped in to ensure that there is peace in the kingdom following the back and forth, and that is what that is how far the government stepped in to intervene. Now that we have gotten Pastor Arochukwu Oji, given the staff of office and the rest of it, obviously there are two sides to this. You're still saying, hey, you're the rightful person. How can we have this resolved permanently, and then so we get to have peace in Arochukwu Kingdom? What do you think should be the way forward?
I am the legitimate king of Arochukwu. There is no other way to resolve this than to give me what belongs to me at this point in time.
All right.
That is the only way out. Because even with the government and their agencies trying, to coerce people into this terror of theirs in Arochukwu Kingdom just to make people scared and drag people away, because if you see what is happening now in Arochukwu, the security agents in Arochukwu now, they are hunting down the innocent youths in Arochukwu, harassing, intimidating, conjure them into supporting their candidate.
Okay.
And this should not be allowed in this century.
All right.
Arochukwu is just like a war zone.
All right.
You know?
Thank
like
you.
We are in the military regime.
Okay, well, Your Majesty, we have to leave it here now. Well, thanks for coming through to clear the air on the said rumor, and hopefully.
I want to say something.
Yes, I wish you could, Your Majesty. I wish you could, but we.
There are some youth in detention now, for doing nothing. They have spent 2 weeks and getting to 2 weeks.
Okay, well, we'll have to leave it there, Your Majesty. Sincere apologies. We are out of time, but fundamentally, they're clearing the report that he has stepped down for Pastor Arochukwu Orji. But in the whole, we hope, just like we have always said, the government insisting, hey, we are ensuring that there is peace in Arochukwu and Shen Kingdom. We hope that at the end of the day, the issues are resolved, and then the ancient kingdom gets to enjoy the peace it has known over the years. It's the much we can take on Open Parliament this morning. It's been the repeat broadcast of a special session we had with some stakeholders from Arochukwu Ancient Kingdom, which was originally held on Friday, July 12, 2024. We did hear from Mazi Kanu there saying, hey, the reports that I have stepped down is not true. Next will be the news at 10. My name is Mr. C. The Thank God It's Friday edition returns tomorrow. Stay with us.